My name's Andrew Johnston. I'm a designer, art director, whatever you want to call me. I run a company called Design is Kinky, and I also publish a magazine called Empty Magazine and run the Semi-Permanent event.
As a young girl,
I guess the common thread that I have with the projects that I run would be, obviously the most obvious one is the design. They're all about design and art in some way. Empty Magazine is pretty obvious. It's a magazine about art, really. And Semi-Permanent is all about sort of design, art, and Design is Kinky is the same. They're just different mediums. So obviously Design is Kinky is a website. Semi-Permanent is an actual conference where you actually physically get to see the people, and Empty is a publication, magazine-based publication. So although they're all similar things, they're just different outlets, I guess. The name Semi-Permanent was one of the first things that we created with Design is Kinky outside of the website was a book, which we call Permanent. And the idea behind the name was that a website never really feels particularly permanent because you literally can take one file away, press a couple of buttons, and there's no website anymore. So it's kind of, obviously there's a certain impermanence to that. And then when we did a book, it's a tactile thing. It's a book. It's a physical object. So we call it Permanent. And then when Murray and I were sitting around talking about the idea behind to do a design conference, I started to think of names, and I thought about relating it to the book just so that our projects would have some sort of relation. And the word semi-permanent came into my head, and I said to Murray, what do you think of semi-permanent? And because it kind of fit, obviously the event comes and goes, it's something, several times a year. And he was like, yeah, it's pretty cool actually. And I guess the main purpose behind Semi-Permanent is just inspiration. That's what we want the event to provide to the designers and artists and whatever they are that come to the event. We, obviously for ourselves there's a financial element because, we need the event to make money so that we can pay our rent and whatever, do the things that we need to do in life. But we think that Australia, needs this type of event, or the Australian design community needs this type of event to continually keep themselves sort of inspired and excited with design. And the fact is that there's not really any other events that have a similar sort of style to Semi-Permanent in Australia. It's massively changed the art and design world because up until the point that the internet started becoming bigger and more popular, the only way to get your work out there was, by the traditional methods of, sending your portfolio out, having exhibitions, getting into magazines, that kind of thing. So now the internet, as you would all be well aware, is completely and utterly packed full of artists and designers and filmmakers and photographers, and everyone who creates almost anything has a website. And so it's made the design world especially way more accessible. So Semi-Permanent I think would have been quite a tough event to run without the internet. Not only in terms of getting the word out about the event, but in terms of finding speakers, because probably 90% of the speakers that we've had over the years we have discovered through their websites or through blogs and that kind of thing. So it's made a massive difference to what we do.
you're sitting on.
I have a real problem with a lot of the communication that happens in our modern times. I'm specifically speaking about, more, say, like television, tabloid magazines, newspapers, stuff like that. I think that, and I'm going to be getting on my high horse here, but I think that, it's like, shows like a major decay in the sort of moral fibre, or whatever you want to call it, of our world, that channels like Channel 9 and Channel 10 and Channel 7 and Fox News in America and all these channels can even exist just makes me despair for the world, to be honest with you.
to see the dawn.